Well, hello friends. Welcome back to Browser Hacking. Today we are going to work on a specific website in the Serenity OS browser because I'm going on a podcast tomorrow morning called thegoodtimeshow.club. And I tried opening their website in the Serenity browser and there were a whole bunch of issues. And actually, let me load it in Firefox while it's loading there. And then you can see, here's what it's supposed to look like. And here is what we currently render. So obviously there are some issues here. We are missing all of the guest and host portraits, and the logo of the show is kind of squished and behind some stuff, not in the right place. So various things going wrong. And then, you know, if we scroll down the page, I'm sure we can find other trouble as well. But I think what we're going to focus on today is to get the top of the page looking better, at least closer to this. So the first thing, I guess, is we're going to try to get these portraits to show up, and because that would make the greatest visual impact. So let's start with that. We'll just right click on Mark here and see. Okay, so Mark Andreessen. It's a div with position absolute. Okay, and I mean, we definitely have support for position absolute, so let's just dump out our layout tree and see what we can divine from that. So it's called guest-11. Guest 11. Okay, so wait, where did it go? Here is our block container called div guest11. It's positioned. And it has an image box inside of it. So this should be the picture of Mark. But it has a width and height of 0 pixels. So something is not going right here. The container is also width and height 0 pixels. So what is going on with that? The parent is div show cover, which is a positioned flex container. But the children are not flex items, probably because they're positioned. So we have one flex item child, which is img.image. So who's that? That's this thing right here. Oh, that's the show logo. Okay, so that one is not position absolute. No, it's position static. Okay, so I think what we have here is a flex container. Flex indeed, which has a flex item child, position static, but then it also has, right, a bunch of position absolute children at various positions, but we are not turning those into flex items and also not doing any layout or positioning for them. So I'm going to go ahead and consult the flexbox spec. So let's just go to CSS WG draft and look for flexbox. All right. So what does it say about position, absolutely positioned flex children? All right. As it is out of flow, an absolutely positioned child of a flex container does not participate in flex layout. So we've clearly implemented that because we are not laying out these children. The static position of an absolutely positioned child of a flex container is determined such that the child is position F if it were the sole flex item in the flex container, assuming both the child and the flex container were fixed size boxes of their used size. Okay, and then a bunch of details about that. So, like ignoring the fine details, it sounds like we should treat them as any other absolutely positioned child of a block formatting context, but their static position should be sort of the based on the flex container. So maybe what we need to do is simply add some logic to the flex formatting context that that we would just kind of walk all of the absolutely positioned children and lay them out. So let's see, flex formatting context run. So this is the flex layout algorithm, which does a bunch of, like, does the steps from the flex spec. And I think at the very end, I guess, we could probably just do something like flex container for each child of type. So every box, child of the flex container. That is absolutely positioned. So is absolutely positioned. Then we would go ahead and lay out absolutely positioned element box. Could it be that simple? That would be real nice if it were that simple. Wow, it's been a while since I worked on Serenity OS. I've been so dug into the Yakt language stuff that I'm a little bit rusty on my Serenity workflow, but bear with me. So, wait. Hey, look at that. We have some stuff. Okay, so now they're showing up. They are kind of awkwardly positioned vertically, at least, but definitely a progression compared to where we started. And they seem to also react to media queries changing, I guess, from the size of the viewport. So that's good. All right, so let's call that a progression. And we'll just do a commit here, say libweb. Make sure we lay out absolutely positioned children of FFC. So apps pause children of flex formatting context must be laid out. This method is in formatting context, which is the base class of all formatting contexts. So any formatting context can handle absolutely positioned children. It's just that we were just not doing it here in the flex formatting context. So if we search for that, we can see that block formatting context is, oh, it's the only one that does it. Yeah. So now we do it here as well, because flex does not inherit from block layout. I think maybe at some point in the past it did in our implementation, but nowadays it doesn't. So we'll have to take care of that. So I guess for the vertical position of these, what is up with that? Like what? Let's look at Mr. Musk here. So what is the top offset? 10%. Wait, 10%? Oh shoot, did I mess it up now? Okay, I definitely clicked something there. So the offset of that div is 10% from the top. 10% of what? 10% of... Is that of the height of the containing block? I'd have to look that up. I don't remember. Because sometimes percentages are relative to containing block width, sometimes to height. And it's not always, like some of the vertical CSS properties are relative to width if percentage, which is kind of weird. So let's see. Usually there's here percentages refer to the height of the containing block. Okay, so the containing block of an absolutely positioned child of a flex container is still going to have the flex container as its containing block, even though the flex container is not a block formatting context. So 10% of the containing block height is going to be the top offset of Elon. And could it be that the logo affects, because the flex container, the logo probably affects the height of the flex container. So let's see, logos, show cover, right. So what if we were to change, can we like add a property here, like height? If we tweak that down to 30 pixels, then yeah, right. So then we get kind of the same effect as we're seeing in Serenity, that everything kind of sponges together vertically. So that's probably what's happening, that we have the wrong height for that show logo, and that makes all of the portraits go in the wrong place. All right, so let's figure out why the logo has the wrong height. thegoodtimeshow.club. No? Did I mess that up? Wait, what? Okay, well, sometimes things don't work, but let's see if it works after a reboot. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we mess up DNS somehow, like our DNS query goes wrong, and then we cache, I think we cache the bad query result, and then you have to either wait for the DNS cache to time out, or you have to reboot Serenity. For sure, there's a good fix for that. It's just that's not what we're here to work on right now, but that would be a good thing to investigate. So why is this thing over on the left, and why is it so squishy? Step 1, inspect element. Okay. So our box model says it's 540 by 110. If we inspect this thing right here, do they have a box model thing? Oh, down here. 540 by 538. So it's essentially going to be quadratic, or like it's going to be square, is the English word. But we are seeing a very bogus height value. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, this is a child of the flex container, so it is itself a flex item, which means that it's laid out by the flex formatting context as a flex item. And this is, can we get more information about this flex thing? How do you get that in Firefox? I'm not great with these dev tools. I should get better at them. Let's see. Okay, so I just want to find out what is the direction of this flexbox. Isn't there some helpful thing I can look at somewhere? Maybe down here. Let's see, flex. I mean, it's display flex, so it's going to be, the direction is row by default, I guess, flex direction. We can just look at our own thing. Flex direction, row. All right, so we have a row layout. So the main size is width and the cross size is height, which means that we are bungling the cross size of this flex item. Main size looks correct, right? Because 540, that's the same main size that Firefox had, but the cross size 110 is wrong. So cross size, How do we do this again? Definite. Wait, there's some like determine. Okay, I'm gonna have to consult the spec because I don't remember what the functions are called at this moment. But if you look at the spec, we can find it that way. So cross size determination. Okay, so we want to determine the hypothetical cross size of each item. Okay, so the hypothetical cross size of item is, let's see. So did we have specific dimensions here? I'm just gonna check. We have max width 100. There's a width attribute. Okay, right, so there's the width attribute that says 540, which I'm not seeing a corresponding CSS attribute anywhere, but maybe Firefox doesn't show presentational hints in this style thing here. So 540 pixels via the width attribute, and we're getting those, but we're not computing that. So in that case, the height should be computed based on the intrinsic aspect ratio of the, like the native or natural size of the image, which are, can we see that picture? Okay, so it's 800 by 798. Okay, so that explains why it's not completely square, because it's not entirely square. Okay, yeah, so it should be based on the intrinsic aspect ratio here. Because we have a definite main size, definite width, but we don't have a definite cross size. So in determining the hypothetical cross size, we take this path. We do have a definite main size. So what we will do is create, wait, hold on. We will create an independent formatting context for this image, but images can't have a formatting context. Interesting. Wait, so what are we doing here? The main size is correct, but the cross size is wrong. Okay, I'm just going to verify that we're here in the first place. Let's do a little bit of printf debugging. So let's say has definite main size, or we can even do something like this. Definite cross size. Okay, and okay. Okay, let's see if this works out. Because now I just want to learn about all of these different things if they have definite main and cross sizes. And this should tell us that. It could get pretty spammy, but actually might not get so spammy. Image box image.img.image. That's the one I was looking for. img.image has definite main size. True. Definite cross size. False. I mean, that's accurate. It does have definite main size, but does not have definite cross size. So we are here. So we take this path, has definite main size. I think if we create an independent formatting context for an image or for any replaced element, we will create a dummy formatting context that does nothing. Yeah, exactly. Because formatting contexts are supposed to format the inside of something, and you can't format the inside of an image. So we're just creating a dummy formatting context, running it, which does nothing. And then what? Then we say the hypothetical cross size is the theoretical height of item.box. Okay. I wonder. So, where do we actually hypothetical cross size? So what do we do with that? Once we have it, sure. So we determine that, and then we want to calculate the cross size of each flex line. Determine used cross size of each flex item. So this is where we actually figure out how tall they're going to be. But it's, well, it is auto, but we're not using align item stretch, so we just fall back to the hypothetical cross size. Okay, so I guess we're just kind of using whatever the result of this thing here. So we do a no-op formatting context, run that, which does nothing, and then we call compute theoretical height, and this is what we end up with as the hypothetical cross size. And what will that do? I think probably for a replaced box, right here, we will compute height for a replaced element, because images are replaced, which just means that it has rules that are outside of CSS that determine how it behaves in layout. Okay, so what do we do for replaced elements? We check if specified width is auto. That's not true. Okay, so the tentative height. And okay, so this is where we actually apply the intrinsic aspect ratio, or we figure out the aspect ratio if we have a width and a height, intrinsic width and height. All right, so I guess maybe we don't have the intrinsic width on hand at this point in time. We can figure that out. So let's do a little bit of debug logging again. So computing height for intrinsic size is by Okay, so we have box intrinsic width, box intrinsic height. Can we just log those like that? No? Okay, well, that was too easy, I guess. I guess we can just log whether we have them or not. So like has intrinsic width and has intrinsic height. That would tell us, because the image should have intrinsic width and height. So it should just say true by true in this case. Also, it's funny that the wrong domain name is in the history there. Okay, dang it. I gotta look at that DNS issue at some point. Unless somebody else beats me to it. So, okay, intrinsic size, true by true, true by true. But this thing right here, img.image, this thing says false by false. So that is suspicious at the very least. img, wait, where is it? img.image. Yeah, okay, so we think we don't have intrinsic size for that. How do we get intrinsic size again? Set intrinsic width. Image boxes get their intrinsic width from the width attribute here. Wait, this is not image box. Where's image box? Right here. Prepare for replaced layout. Oh, I see. Okay, so, this is probably what's going wrong. So, for whatever historical reason, we assign the intrinsic width and height to layout boxes kind of imperatively by calling prepare for replace layout. And who calls that? Block formatting context calls it when computing width, and formatting context calls it when doing compute width for absolutely positioned element. Inline level iterator does it, but the flex formatting context does not do it. So I bet you that we just need to have the flex formatting context inform any replaced items, any replaced flex items that they need to acquire intrinsic geometry, basically. And then, you know, if in the future, it would be good to make that lazy so that, like, the first time you try to access the intrinsic dimensions, they would just go and compute them like then, instead of us having to think of it ahead of time, because then we get this type of issue we have right now. But of course, I shouldn't run my mouth too much about this because maybe it's not the bug, but let's see. Where would we do this? Determine the flex. I guess we can do it here. Like when we're determining the flex base size for each item, we can slip it in here. So that would be flex item dot box dot prepare. Oh, wait, we have to check first if it's replaced. Flex item dot box is replaced box. If so, static cast to replaced box. Prepare for replaced layout. I bet you I have to include something for that because it didn't autocomplete. So let's see. I wonder, I can't even remember why we decided to, or why I decided to make that imperative instead of lazy. But I can't think of a reason why it couldn't be lazy now. I think we could just make it lazy, but it would be a bit of larger refactoring, so I'm hesitant to do it at this moment. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's kind of progress. At least now it has dimensions. Like, it has height, but it's like too large. How large did it get? Let's find out. Now it's 1039? Wait, what? That's so weird. So it actually got larger than the intrinsic size, which was 800 by 798. Huh. But, I mean, it's still progress, right? Because now, at least the guest portraits get, like, put in more accurate vertical positions. But why is it so wide? Should be only 400. Okay, so let's put a note here. Fix me. Fix me, get rid of prepare for replaced layout and make replaced element determine figure out their intrinsic size lazily. Yeah, let's put that here for context. Okay, I think we can still commit that. I feel okay about this one. Libweb make FFC handle replaced prepare replaced child boxes for layout. Yeah, so there's before we ask a replaced box if it has about its intrinsic dimensions, we have to prepare the box, which tells it to go and work out what its intrinsic dimensions are. I'm pretty sure I've added a fix me about how this is silly and clearly bug prone. But this patch only patches it locally in FFC for now. Yes. Okay, so why is the height, or why is the width so wide still? So now we are getting a too wide main size for the only flex item. So now we're determining the main size, not if the flex container, but where do we figure out the main size? I guess it's the hypothetical main size. Right, determine flex base size and hypothetical main size of a flex item. So how do we do that? Well, we can go and look at the spec link. Nicely provided here by considerate person in the past. What was it actually? Algo main. I prefer looking at the draft spec in this case because it has like a bunch of improvements to the spec language since the published version. So it's easier to understand in a bunch of cases. And it's not incompatible as far as I know. So let's see. So the flex base size and the hypothetical main size. If the item has a definite use flex basis, what is the flex basis? That is a property. Okay, sure. So we don't have a definite flex basis. We don't have flex basis content, I assume, or wait, what's the initial value is auto. Okay, so then we don't have content. If the use flex basis is content, no. Otherwise, use flex basis content. Otherwise, okay, so we are in E here. Otherwise, size the item into the available space using its used flex basis in place of its main size. So that is how we compute what exactly? Size the item into the available space. Sure. And then the hypothetical main size is the item's flex base size clamped according to its used min and max main sizes. All right, so we are in the E case otherwise, and we have a definite main size, which means that we are returning specified main size of child box as the main size. Wait, if we have a definite main size and we return specified main size. Wait, what? So, oh, this is how we compute the flex base size. Right, this is an immediately invoked function expression. So we get that, we have it here, and then we're clamping that to the min size and the max size. So I guess we're clamping it to the min width and the max width, because the hypothetical main size is the flex item's base size clamped according to its used min and max sizes, and flooring the content box size at 0. Hypothetical main size is the item's flex base size clamped according to its used min and max main sizes. Clamp min, clamp max. So what are we clamping here exactly, I wonder? So say that we have this image that's like 400 wide, according to the attribute, or whatever the attribute said. I don't remember. What did it say? Was it 540 actually? Yeah, 540, sorry. So it's 540 wide. We're making it way bigger than that. So we're clamping it to, is there a min size, min width or max width in effect here? We have max width 100%. Right, so that's 100% of the containing block. That's the flex container. Okay, so it can be max this size. And min, we don't have a min size, which means that we're not using the specified min size. Instead, the min size becomes whatever this is, the determine min main size of child. Which for row layout is calculate min and max content width, and then use the min content size. So what does that mean? That means that we will clamp it to the minimum content size. What is the min content size? I guess in the case of an intrinsic, min content size is size. See, so here we calculate intrinsic sizes, and for something that has intrinsic width and intrinsic height, which applies to our image, we will simply query its intrinsic width and height and then return those as both the min and max content size. So if I understand this correctly, that means that we will clamp this image width as if it had min width 800, because that is apparently the result of determine, or that's probably the result of determine min main size of child. That doesn't sound right. So what is the default min width behavior? Let's go to MDN, which says initial value auto. Okay, so let's look at another draft. What is it called? Box sizing? Or is it just sizing? Either way, please load. Rhythmic sizing. No. Let's look at CSS sizing. Level 3. Okay. So min width. The min width and min height properties. Okay. Min width and min height specify minimum width and minimum height. Yes, I know that. Note, the initial value of auto is new. In CSS2, the initial value was 0. Ooh, look at that. We're deviating from CSS2 here. Cool. What does auto mean in this context? Width auto. For width height, specifies an automatic size. Sure. For min width and min height, specifies an automatic minimum size. Unless otherwise defined by the relevant layout module, however, it resolves to a used value of 0. For backwards compatibility, the resolved value of this keyword is 0 for boxes of all CSS2 display types. So that doesn't include flexbox, I guess. And all the table layout boxes, sure. Also resolves to 0 when there's no box. So automatic minimum size should be 0 unless otherwise defined by the relevant layout module. So automatic minimum size. Does flexbox mention automatic minimum size? Oh, it does. Wait, automatic minimum. Oh shoot, I ended up in the sizing spec again. Oh, here we go. Automatic minimum size of flex items. Cool. So to provide a more reasonable default minimum size for flex items, the used value of a main axis automatic minimum size on a flex item that is not a scroll container is its content-based minimum size. And for scroll containers, the automatic minimum size is 0 as usual. So an image is not a scroll container, I think. Unless, I guess, you put some overflow on it, but let's just ignore that for now. And look at what is the content-based minimum size then. So this should be the automatic minimum size. So we, instead of having min main size of a child, we should compute something called the content, or we should compute the automatic minimum size for the flex item. That's what the fallback should be. Is this used elsewhere? Let's see, it's used here and here. Also when we don't have a main min size. Okay, so this is essentially automatic minimum size of flex item. That's what this wants to be. So let's rename that because the name is misleading, maybe at best. So automatic minimum size of flex item. And then let's take a flex item. I feel like we should be able to, I was gonna say, we should be able to make that const. I don't know why it would not be const. Doesn't need to mutate anything, I think. Automatic minimum size of flex item. Okay. So we've renamed it, but what should it do? So I guess we will be good boys and link to that here. Or actually the link should go to here. Min size auto. Yes, automatic minimum size of flex item. And then let's just make this a little bit easier to read. There we go. So what are we saying here? Yeah, so if it's a scroll container, yeah, we're ignoring the scroll container part. So fix me, deal with scroll containers. But in our case, it's the content-based minimum size of a flex item. So let's put that in a separate function as well. Content-based minimum size of, yeah, maybe we don't need the of flex item suffix on these functions because it's kind of implied by the fact that it takes a flex item parameter. There we go. Okay, so then we wanted to call out to flex formatting context content-based minimum size, which we'll copy the link. I'm just gonna try to do everything nicely here. Leave references for future people reading this code. Okay, so the content-based minimum size of a flex item is the smaller of its specified size suggestion and its content size suggestion. Aha. If its specified size suggestion exists. Got it. So I assume the specified size suggestion is the preferred main size. That means your... Wait, hold on. The preferred main size, that's like the width property in this case, right? Yeah, the width and height properties are the preferred size properties. Sure. That's a specified size suggestion. So specified size suggestion. If the preferred main size is definite and not automatic, then the specified size suggestion is that size. It's otherwise undefined. Okay, so this is essentially, maybe this should be a flex item property, actually. I don't know why I'm putting these on the formatting context. So this is going to be an optional float specified size suggestion. Oops. And we also had a content size suggestion. Actually, I don't know if flex, I was going to say, I don't know if flex item wants to have methods. Maybe we should just cool it on that for just a short moment here. Specify. Or no, let's not cool it on that. This is going to be more helpful to everybody if we make a helper for it. Specified size suggestion. All right, a little bit of thinking going into it here, but it's probably a good thing. Okay, I guess that's a nested struct. There we go. And what was it? Let's copy that text here so that we can refer to it. All right, if the item's preferred main size, which means that if our box has definite main size, then it's that size. So return definite specified main size of box. Wait, what's wrong with that? Static non-member function of flex formatting. Ah, dang it. Okay, yeah. I guess we're not really set up to start adding methods to flex item itself. So let's just do it this way. It's otherwise undefined. So in that case, we'll just return an empty optional. Right, and then we'll just yoink that and put it out here instead somewhere. Yes, and we also had the other one, content size suggestion. Okay, sure. Content size suggestion. Let's implement that too while we're here. Content size suggestion is the min content size in the main axis clamped if it has a preferred aspect ratio by any definite minimum. And okay, so this is your clamp condition. So let's ignore the clamping for now. We'll just like fix me apply clamps. You'll notice I like to leave fix me's because like you can't implement everything at once with specs this large. You just have to kind of paint big strokes and then go and fill in the smaller strokes later. The min content size in the main axis. Oh, but I guess that's what we were doing here, right? Like digging out the min content size. So that's what we will do, like that. Oh, and it's never undefined, so this can just return float. Cool. And you need a semicolon. All right. So then content-based minimum size was this thing right here. The smaller of its specified and content size suggestion, if there is a specified size suggestion. Okay, so let's copy that copy. So in, let's just say specified size suggestion for item. Okay, then is the smaller of these two. So min of specified size suggestion dot value and the content size suggestion for item. Like that, okay? Otherwise, the smaller of... Okay, so there's a bunch of additional conditions here, or additional situations. Otherwise, the smaller of blah, blah, blah. And then we have an additional otherwise scenario down here. If the element is replaced and that's transferred. Okay, so, otherwise it's okay, so I'm gonna make this situation a fix me. Then I don't have to figure out what a transferred size suggestion is right now. And then we can just fall back to the content size suggestion like here. And in all cases, the size is clamped by the maximum main size if it's definite. All right, so we should apply the main max size, like max width or max height property. So that's just content size suggestion for item, right? In all cases, we should clamp. So let's see, auto result. We can do something like, let's say unclamped size, and then if we have a maximum main size, if definite, wait, how did we figure out if we had max size? Has main max size, right? Item.box. Then we should be the min of unclamped size and let's see. We should be the min of unclamped size and main max size, specified main max size for item.box. Sounds about right. Otherwise, just return the unclamped size. Okay. I am sure that I've made at least some mistakes. Clearly, the compiler is upset at me, so doing a bunch of things wrong. I should have looked at these actually. Determine min main size of child. Oh, right, I renamed that to automatic minimum size of item. And we have an unused parameter item right here. Automatic minimum size does nothing. Oh shoot, did I not? Where did I say deal with scroll containers? Oh, right here. Oh, I just never did anything. Oh, I see. Return content-based minimum size for item. That was the right. Okay, let's see if this actually bears fruit. This is getting a little bit silly. But let's just reboot. Come on now. Come on now. Just work. Come on. Ooh. Okay, so I think it doesn't look stretched anymore. The dimensions feel like they might be good. 540 by 498. Nice. Of course, it's offset to the left, which I guess is our next problem, but the size is good. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a decent progression. We'll do a commit here. Implement some of flex automatic minimum size for flex items. I guess we should call it like that. All right. It's nice when you are writing code that is so close to the spec, or you try to stay really close to the spec, because then you can like bring in spec text as comments. You can use spec names as function and variable names, and there's like this big reference for anybody working on the code can go and look at the spec, and it should be able to figure out what's what. Which also, you know, means that I don't have to write that big of a commit message here, because like it's a very, very referenceable code, I guess. Anyway, what's going on with this thing now? So why is it here? Why is this in the middle and ours is to the left? Because we have auto margins. Oh wait, is this thing centered using horizontal auto margins? Maybe that's what they're doing. How does that work in flexbox, I wonder? If that's what it let's see. So if I remove the okay, yeah. So if I disable the margin property, then it just pops out awkwardly to the left. So I guess they are centering it using margin right auto and margin left auto. Right, so if I disable margin left here, can I edit that in line? No, I can't. All right. Well, anyway. Okay, so how does flexbox deal with that? Aligning with auto margins. There's a section about it. How very helpful. Non-normative, sure. So auto margins on flex items have an effect very similar to auto margins in block flow. Okay. During calculations of flex bases and flexible lengths, auto margins are treated as 0. Prior to alignment, any positive free space is distributed to auto margins in that dimension. Oh, I see. So before we align the items, when we figure out what to do with the free space, So like the way flex layout works is like first you figure out how wide every item wants to be or how tall every item wants to be. And then you sometimes end up with a bunch of free space because the container is wider than the sum of the size of the items. So you have to do something with that free space. And I guess that's when we distribute that some of that space to auto margins. So how does that work? Can we just, like, where do we actually do it though? Distribute any remaining free space. For each flex line, if the remaining free space is positive and at least one main axis margin on this line is auto, distribute the free space equally among these margins. Otherwise, set all auto margins to 0. Okay, so distribute any remaining free space. Free space. Distribute any remaining free space. Well, look at that. Okay, so what do we do with auto margins? We just count how many we have. Okay, so if main axis margin first is auto for this box, we say, okay, that's one auto margin. If the main axis margin second, so I guess this is like based on the flex direction, it's either the top or the left margin first, and then the bottom or the right margin second. Okay, so we count all of the auto margins before and after in the flex direction. And then what do we do? Size per auto margin is remaining free space divided by auto margins. This sounds like we should already be doing this. So if the first margin first is auto, then we set main axis first margin. And for the second, we set the second margin. Wait, but why doesn't it actually go in the middle then? What does this do? It sets the margin left of, sets the box's used margin left to margin. All right. So far, so good. Where do we position everything though? Main offset. So this is where we compute the actual offset. So the offset is like we're laying out from left to right or right to left or top to bottom, bottom top, whatever, in some direction. We're laying out in some direction, and the main offset is like where we're going to place the next item in the flex direction. So it's the current offset plus main before margin plus main before border plus main before padding. But whoa, wait, hold on. That's not what we were setting though, because we were setting it on the layout state. So we're assigning the free space to the layout box state, but we're not actually updating the flex item itself, which is maybe we just need to let's see, like something like this, like margins main before is size per auto margin, like that. It's a little bit. Let's see, this would be main after, size per auto margin, sure. And you have the same thing going on down here, but we're setting them to 0 instead, so that should also, this is a bit weird factoring, but let's just verify if this is, if this does the trick. because it's not consulting the layout state here. It's only looking at the flex item, which is flex item is like a cache object inside the flex layout. It's not the same thing as the layout state. Hey, look at that. Ah, we're in the middle. It's a little too tall, I feel like. Like, we're getting there. But now there's like this distance between this logo and Arthi and Sriram, whose names are not visible also, but anyway. I think I'm getting a little bit tired here, so I think we're gonna wrap it up at this point. I think we made some really good progress still, so let's turn this into a commit, I was gonna say, but maybe we can do better than this, because we already have a helper here, right? And is this used anywhere else? No, it is not. So it's only used for this, which means that we could make this take the item instead. Set main axis first margin. Yeah, if we make it take the item, then we can also update the item cache information. Flex item. Main before is margin. And then we don't actually have to change the other code, which is pretty nice. Okay, well, anyways, we'll get to that error in a second. Main after, and then who was calling this? You. Oh, now you just call it like this instead. No big deal. And then we can get rid of that. Oh yeah, actually all of this just goes back to the way it was. So we don't need to touch anything. No, actually, no, it doesn't go back to the way it was because we still have to change what we're passing, but it actually becomes slightly neater, you might say. So what's the diff? The diff is, oh, it's gentle. Okay, so oh, I still had it running here, sorry. Actually distribute auto margins to flex item. Auto margin free space to flex items with auto margins. We were not applying the distributed space to the used offset of flex items, as we were only assigning the margins to the layout state of the box, but not the flex internal flex item margins cache. Struct or whatever, yeah, or just that thing, yeah. Good. Okay, let's just make sure that I didn't break it with that edit there. All right, just one more time, I guess. Okay, this DNS issue, or whatever it is worse than I thought it was going to be, or worse than I expected. So I may have to actually care about it a little more. But yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. And yeah, I need to stop now because I have to get some sleep before the Good Time Show, which is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for me. So I have to go and sleep before that. So we'll stop hacking here, but I feel like this was great progress. So this will be the end of the video. If you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out. I hope that you saw something interesting today. It was fun to hack on the web engine again. I know that I've been in programming language hacking land for like 2 months now, and this felt like a healthy little break from that. And yeah, it's fun. Should do more of that, actually. But also need to finish the language stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And if you watched the show, I hope it turns out good. And see you next time. Bye.